Remember, remember, I remember you. You lift my spirit. With you high is all I feel.
Hi there. Let's have a quick look around the greenhouse and see what's going on. Right, here you can just see a sea of green. This lettuce is doing really well. To be honest with you, I'm worried it's going to get a bit too large soon. I'm going to start giving some of these away because I can't eat it quick enough. To give you an idea of the size, you can see my hands in there. You can see down the bottom I'm harvesting as much as I can, but it grows back as quick as I can eat it. Pardon me. You can see there's some bok choy coming up through there. Didn't do too well to start with, but it seems to have perked up now. I've got a cucumber down the back. She's starting to set a bit of fruit. Down the base, I might nip them off and let it start concentrating on growing rather than fruiting. And nice big tomato coming up there, beef tomato. Let's scoot along a bit. So, down in these bubblers, this is sort of my overflow section here, just keeping stuff ticking over. Stuff that I'm not sure what to do with. I've got a courgette here. I'm not sure whether to grow one this year in this system. I've got one over there in a different bubbler, and then these were backup tomatoes. I don't have the heart to throw them out. They were backup in case any of the ones in the Dutch buckets failed, but they seem to be doing very well considering they're just in water. They've got no medium and growing. So, oh well, you can see there, that's the tomato roots there, courgette roots, that's a bok choy root, and then around the back a couple more tomato roots. Yeah, I can't decide whether I've got the heart to throw them out or not, or whether I'll just try and keep them maybe trimmed and keep them low. Because the main concern I had was last year, these buckets got too crowded almost. So you can see I've alternated. I've left one clear this year. I was gonna, well, every other one clear unless I've planted something low in it or a climber. So I need to decide if I'm going to stick a climber in these two or that one. I'm not too sure yet. I've got a tomato there. It's looking a bit short and stocky. It's worth noting that one was one that was just started in the hydroton, so that was one that fell from seed last year. It's probably just a rotten tomato that fell in there that started growing. That one at the back's a beef tomato, just there. That's growing very well. The only problem with them is, as per the name, they get a bit beefy, and I'm worried it might swamp everything out. You can see I've got a different variety of lettuce down here. On the camera it looks like 4, but it's not. There's 3 wide, so there's 6 in here. And again, these are another one that I'm struggling to eat. Well, I'm not struggling to eat it, it's just I'm struggling to manage to consume it at a fast enough rate that it grows. There's a little bit of green fly coming on it. It doesn't want to focus the camera, does it? Come on, focus. There you are. There's a couple of green fly in there. I don't know if you can see them on camera. There's one crawling just there. Almost needs a good soak before being consumed if you're fussy, but if you're not fussy like me, then you can just knock a couple off. No. And then eat them up. There's no chemicals on there, so I'm sure I've eaten worse. Down the back, this is a new addition this year. Let's try and zoom in a bit. It's got the slowest zoom ever, this camera. So in here, this one, unlike the other ones, sorry if I'm repeating myself if you watched the last video, this one is running with just water, so it's a bubbler. That's running off the same main system as the rest of it, so it's using the same nutrients, same nutrient water. Let's have a quick look at the root growth. Again, doesn't want to zoom back out again. Come on. Yeah, so you can see we've got some good root growth. You can almost see, also see something that looks like a twig. That's actually a bramble. So I'm going to try growing a bramble this year in a hydroponic system and see if I can get some nice black currants. Well, I say bramble. Bramble's a type of family group, I think, of plants which raspberries in. Anyway, enough of that. Let's pop this down. This is a difficult bit, getting it back in. Let's have a look. There you go. So, just if you're interested to see what's in there, let's have a look. So, in there, there's just the water supply coming in, which is the black hose, and then the white, well, clear hose is a bubbler that goes down, and you can see the bubbles rising. And that just keeps the water a bit fresh, keeps it moving, and when the bubbles pop at the surface, it makes sure that the main root ball of each one of these is nice and moist. So these are gourds in there, and a bramble, a bramble, a blackcurrant, and that's going to grow up. And then I'm going to take that little corner panel out there. That's going to come out, and they're going to grow out of the greenhouse. You can see I've got 3 solar panels there. We'll get onto that in a sec. Across here, we've got the other bubblers, which are running here. Again, you can see same setup. These ones, again, repeat myself, same setup, just water. And then the water starts coming in over the right, trickles down, overflows back into the drain, back to the main tank. So all this is running off the same water supply. Keep repeating myself again. There's nothing interesting in there, just tomatoes. Oh, there's a cucumber melon. Growing one of them again there. I'm going to put that into soil though, probably tomorrow. Jalapeno at the back, that you can see just there. Tomato. This is my heritage tomato roast. That's a black one, and that's some kind of weird cherry one at the back there. I'll go freehand for a sec. The figs picked up a little, but it's still not looking healthy. Started off the year well, but then just sort of weakened off a bit. You can see it's got poor. If it focuses. Oh god, this is taking an age. Anyway, you can see in a blurry fashion that it's got a poor formation of leaves going on. It's not managing it properly. I think I've over fertilised it at some point. This one here, again, I don't know what's gone on with it. Both of these two, they're sitting next to each other, so I'm worried I've done the same thing to both of them, over fertilised. My chilies have gone into these big pots. So I can't remember what litre these are, but they're nice and deep. So I'm hoping I'm going to get some good chili growth off, chili fruits off these. And there's a big different selection in there of different types of pepper, California Reapers, Boot Jock Liars, Naga Dorsets and Douglars and all sorts. Old ones at the back, new ones at the front. There's a grass I was growing, it was getting too tatty, so I burnt it off with a blowtorch, and now it's started to sprout again. Another couple of chilies. The tower lily, never grown one before. Started off in a pot, that's going to need to go outside soon. That one is a bramble again, but that's a raspberry. It's a bit slow this year. Some roses and bits and bobs over there. Now here's the main star attraction, my aquaponics system. It's not quite running with any fish in it yet. Fish tank's going to go in the middle here. Now with this, you can see in the top here I've got a selection of herbs. Got some garlic chives at the back, some coriander and parsley, then a couple of strawberries, so they're not herbs, so they might be, I don't know. No, they don't, no, they're not. And 2 horseradish roots that I dug up from the garden. So we'll see how they get on. Now, in a second, this camera's going to run out of memory, so I'm just going to have to change memory cards and then we'll be back. Okay, so memory card changed. This is going to be the aquaponics setup. It's been running for a day or two now, successfully, so I'm happy with that. And the way this is going to work is that I have the main plant tank at the top, with a selection of herbs and hardy kind of flowers slash fruits in it. Mostly herbs, I'm thinking, so I can't stop eating. Mostly herbs, I think, because I don't actually grow many herbs in the greenhouse, and the ones I grow in the garden tend to, there's a lot of cats in the area, and there's always a suspicious scent of urine around the garden. Now, discussed this before in a past video, water comes into this one, and then it's got a bell siphon, which again I discussed in a past video. I don't really want to go into it in detail, but that's the bell siphon. You can look in other people's videos that have done really good description of bell siphons. And the, oh god, let me get back in now. That's what she said last night. Yeah, I don't want to discuss that, but basically what it does is it lets the water fill up to probably about there, so the whole root ball gets wet, and then starts automatically siphoning, and it'll siphon down to about here. So unlike an overflow, which would only ever let it get to wherever the top of the overflow is, this will let it overflow right up to wherever I want it to be, and then it'll drain straight down. So quids in, happy days there. Comes in up on this hose pipe here. You can see a crude setup there with it cable tied to a stone to hold it in. Temporary measures, permanent solution will be better than that. And then at the moment it's draining straight down this flow pass overflow pipe into this secondary grow bed down here. Now this is an overflow, so that one fills up and then overflows down there, and then underneath there, let's go freehand for a mow. Down there it goes into the base, and then in here is a diesel transfer pump, which pumps it back up again. A diesel transfer pump is one of them things. Got these new ones, £7 from a UK seller on eBay. There it is, but it's got a weird hose fitting, so I've had to come up with this weird sort of setup where I've super glued a hose pipe into the end, and then into the hose pipe I've put the silicone tubing. Now that's running completely off solar power, so that's a 12 volt pump, and it runs off solar power off of them 3 solar panels on the roof, so they're 310 watts at 12 volts, and then they go down into there's a battery, just a small lead acid battery, and that's not really for charging, that's just to give it a bit more oomph, a bit more amps, to be able to pull when the pump switch is on. And then it's controlled by, let's zoom in again incredibly slowly, this pump here. So this pump, this timer, £4 off eBay, absolute bloody bargain. So it runs off 12 volts, and what it does is it's got a little lithium ion battery in it, so even if there's no power going to it, it keeps the memory in there. And what this does is it's got, let's see how little padlock's gone, so you can program it to 16 ons and offs. So it turns on at 9, off at 9:01, on at 10, off at 10:01, on at 11, and you see the pattern going along. So this goes all the way until 8 PM when I'm happy that it'll be all good. And then you can see just there it says auto, so it's on automatic mode at the moment. So if I turn this to manual at the top, you can see that red light's come on, and then if we go back, there you go. So you can see that's pumping away happily. Now in a minute this is going to start draining. Now it'll start off slow, and then all of a sudden you'll, there you go, it's started off properly now. So now it'll drain, and then at the top we can see, you see that tube there, it's stopped now, but that was it kicking the siphon off. There you are. So that lets the air suck into the tube, so it stops the vacuum and it stops overflowing. And then in a minute it'll kick on again. If I turn the pump up a bit to try and speed it up, it'll kick on again and keep draining. Now when this system's fully set up and going, this will actually drain into a fish tank from the top one, and then the fish tank will overflow into the bottom grow bed, which will overflow into the main storage tank, which will then, when it switches on, get pumped back up into the top one. So that's all good, all happy with that. Let's turn it off, and then let's turn this back to automatic. There we go. So that's all going. Now let's just check out the grape quick. If I can get the camera off the mount. There we are. So down here we've got the outdoor spider plants that are indoors. Ceanothus got a bit dry and it's gone a bit tatty now, bit of a shame. A rose cutting that I took earlier this year, a bit too big, I think it's going to dry out that. But the grape, the Chardonnay grape isn't putting on too much growth and it's looking a bit, it's got some coloration in the leaves. Start again, now it's focused. It's got some coloration going on in the leaves, so I'm not sure if again that's got some form of deficiency or over fertilized. But the Phoenix grape is looking great. It's putting lots of growth and it's got lots of little bunches of grapes starting. So yeah, I'm holding me hopes up for that one to do well. And that's pretty much it in the greenhouse. There's some nasturtiums. Oh, I've missed the best thing. The strawberries are doing incredibly well. So the strawberries are running from a NFT rail. The nutrient comes in the end and runs down and gets the roots wet. And they're putting on some really good fruit. There you go, nice and green. I'm sure they'll bulk out. But you can see the flower production is really good. Now all the ones that are really big have been bought at the garden centre. All the little ones are out of the garden. The little ones are actually alpine strawberries, which I'm a fan of. Really nice in breakfast cereal in the morning. Now what I've changed to this setup is it was running off this main tank, but I was worried because one day I just happened to look at the garden and it was overflowing because it had a blockage in the drain. It was overflowing in the middle. So I'm worried that one day I'll dump out all the nutrients, and if I don't catch it within a day or two, then might cause a few issues. I think this main system would be fine, but I think these strawberries would die. So what I've done is I've swapped it over and it's now running from its own tank. So in that tank there's another one of my favourites, diesel transfer pump in the bottom there, and in down the end across, overflows here and then goes down. What I've done actually to help it drain a bit better, in case one gets blocked, there's now two outlets. So there's one at the end here, so if it gets really high then it outlets across and down, and then this one at the bottom comes down. And what I've done is I've lifted this end up a bit so it does let the roots soak quite well. Anyway, that's everything. There's some spinach on the floor as well, it's very nice. And the garlic at the back window, there's an absolute shit ton of the stuff. Let's have a quick look. Yeah, so you can see the garlic's doing well as well. And yeah, that's everything. Right. Anyway, thanks for watching and see you soon. Cheers, bye.
Remember